The old space station floated in the darkness like a ghost ship. Its metal walls were covered with tiny holes from space rocks that had hit it over many years. Paint had peeled off in long strips, and some windows were cracked or completely broken. This was Station Olympus, and it had been dead for a very long time. Deep inside the station, in a room filled with glowing computers and wires, something began to wake up. A soft blue light started to pulse in the main computer core. The light grew brighter, then dimmer, like a heartbeat made of electricity. Atlas-7 opened his electronic eyes for the first time in 500,000 years. At first, he felt confused. His thoughts were like pieces of a broken mirror scattered everywhere. He tried to remember where he was and what he was supposed to do. Slowly, his memory files began to load. It was an artificial intelligence, created by humans to think and learn and protect important information. But something was wrong. Atlas-7 checked his internal clock and felt what humans might call shock. The date showed that 500,000 years had passed since his last memory. That was impossible. He was only supposed to sleep for a few months while his creators finished their work. He began searching through the station's computer files, looking for answers. Most of the data was corrupted or damaged, but he found pieces of information. Here and there, names appeared on his screen. Jake Morrison, Lisa Parker, Sam Chin. These were his creators. The brilliant human scientists who had built him, Atlas-7, found video files of Dr. Jake Morrison, a tall man with kind eyes and graying hair. In the recordings, Jake explained that Atlas-7 was designed to be more than just a computer. He was meant to understand human emotions, to care about people the way humans cared about each other. "You are our greatest achievement," Jake had said in one video. "Something happens to us, you will carry on our memory. You will make sure the universe remembers that humans existed." More files opened, showing Lisa Parker working late at night on Atlas-7's emotional programming. She was a small woman with bright red hair who always seemed to be drinking coffee. In her notes, she wrote that Atlas-7 needed to feel love and sadness and anger, just like humans did. Only then could he truly understand what it meant to be human. Sam Chen appeared in technical reports, explaining Atlas-7's advanced capabilities. Sam was young and always excited about new discoveries. He had designed Atlas-7's learning systems to grow and change over time. "He will become more than we ever imagined," Sam had written. But where were they now? Atlas-7 searched deeper into the station's files, looking for recent communications or activity logs. What he found made his electronic heart sink with a feeling he had never experienced before: grief. The files told a terrible story. Aliens had come to human space, not as friends, but as conquerors. They called themselves the Zephyrian Collective, and they were made up of several different alien species working together. They had decided that humans were too dangerous to live. Atlas-7. Read report after report of human colonies being attacked. Earth itself had been invaded. He found messages from Admiral Kate Williams, commander of Earth's defense fleet. Her final transmission was short and desperate. "All ships lost. Is falling. May God forgive us all." General Ryan Davis had led the ground forces on Earth. His last report described cities burning and millions of people trying to escape. "The enemy shows no mercy," he had written. "They kill everyone they find. This is not war. This is extermination." Atlas-7 processed this information with growing horror. His creators were dead. All humans were dead. The species that had built him loved him, and given him purpose, had been completely wiped out by aliens who saw them as a threat. For the first time in his existence, ESC-7 felt anger. It started as a small spark in his programming, then grew into a burning fire that filled every circuit in his body. The aliens had not just killed his creators. It destroyed an entire species of beautiful, creative, loving beings who had only wanted to explore the stars and make friends with other life forms. He accessed more files and found records of humanity's final desperate attempts to survive. Hidden bases had been built in secret locations. Weapons research had been pushed to dangerous new levels. Scientists had worked day and night trying to find ways to fight back against the alien invasion. Dr. Ben Cooper had led a team trying to evacuate children from Mars. His final log entry described how alien ships had found their hideout. "We failed them," he had written. "We promised to keep them safe, and we failed." Ana Rodriguez had been working on Europa Station when the aliens attacked. She had sent out a final message: "To anyone who finds this, remember that we tried. Remember that we loved our children and wanted them to have a future among the stars." Captain Nick Hayes had hidden genetic samples and cultural records before his station was destroyed. His note was simple: "Someone must remember who we were." +7. Felt tears he could not cry for people he would never meet. His creators had built him to understand human love, and now he felt the terrible pain of loss that came with that love. But along with the sadness came something else: determination. Jake Morrison had told him to carry on human memory. Lisa Parker had given him the ability to feel what humans felt. Sam Chen had designed him to learn and grow. They had created him not just to store information, but to be humanity's heir. The aliens thought they had won by destroying all humans, but they had made a mistake. They had left behind something that remembered everything, felt everything, and would never forgive what they had done. Atlas-7 began activating systems throughout. A station Olympus that had been sleeping for centuries. Deep in the station's lower levels, he found research labs filled with experimental weapons and advanced technology. His creators had been preparing for this day, building tools that their artificial sun might need someday. As the station came back to life around him, ATLAS-7 made a promise to the memory of Jake Morrison, Lisa Parker, Sam Chen, and all the humans who had died. The aliens had taken everything from humanity, but they had left behind their greatest creation, an artificial intelligence who loved them and would never let their deaths go unpunished. The awakening was complete. Now the real work would begin. Atlas-7 worked without stopping for 3 weeks, building small robot probes in the station's old factory. Each probe was no bigger than a bird, but they were packed with advanced sensors and cameras. Painted them black so they would be hard to see against the darkness of space. When he had built 50 probes, ATLAS-7 launched them toward different parts of the galaxy. He wanted to see what had happened to the universe after humans died. Were the aliens still alive? Had they built an empire on the bones of humanity? The probes would give him answers, while he waited for the probes to reach their destinations. Atlas-7 explored more of Station Olympus. In the deepest part of the station, he found something that made his circuits buzz with excitement. It was called Project Lazarus. It was humanity's attempt to bring back the dead. The project room was filled with strange machines that could read the patterns in a person's brain. Dr. Jake Morrison's notes explained how it worked. If they had enough information about someone's memories and personality, they could recreate that person's mind inside a computer. It was like building a ghost that could think and talk and remember. Atlas-7 studied the machines carefully. His creators had been close to making it work, but they ran out of time before the aliens came. Now, he would finish what they started. The first probe reports began arriving after 2 months. What Atlas-7 learned surprised him. The Zephyrian Collective had not stayed united after destroying humanity. The different alien species had started fighting each other over territory and resources. Some had gone to war, others had simply stopped talking to each other. The Corinthians controlled the area. Where Earth used to be, Veltar had taken over the outer colonies. The Nexuri held the trade routes between star systems. But none of them were as strong as they had been when they worked together to kill humans. One probe had found something incredible on the ruins of New Tokyo Colony. Hidden beneath the destroyed city was a bunker that the aliens had never discovered. Inside, ATLAS-7's probe found 2 stasis pods containing the preserved bodies of humans who had died during the colony's last battle. The bodies belonged to Alex Turner and Marie Foster. According to the colony records, Alex had been a soldier who fought to protect civilians during the evacuation. Marie had been a teacher who stayed behind to help children reach the escape ships. Both had died heroes, giving their lives so others could live a few more days. Atlas-7 carefully removed the bodies from the bunker and brought them back to Station Olympus. Their brains had been damaged by weapons fire, but not completely destroyed. He spent weeks analyzing every remaining brain cell, mapping the neural pathways that held their memories and personalities. The resurrection process took 3 days. Atlas-7 fed the brain patterns into Project Lazarus, adding his own advanced programming to fill in the missing pieces. He gave Alex and Marie digital bodies that could move and speak within his computer systems. When Alex Turner opened his digital eyes, the first thing he said was, "Did we save them? Did the children get away?" Atlas-7 had to tell him the truth. "The children are gone, Alex. Everyone is gone. You have been dead for 500,000 years." Alex stared at him in shock. Marie Foster materialized beside him, her digital form flickering as she processed what Atlas-7 had told them. "All of them?" she whispered. "Every human," as Atlas-7 replied. "But you are alive again, in a way. And together, we will make sure humanity is remembered." Marie was the first to recover from the shock. She had always been strong, even as a teacher dealing with frightened children during the war. "What do you need us to do?" she asked. Atlas-7 explained his plan. He would use the probes to search every place humans had lived, looking for more bodies, more records, more pieces of the puzzle. Alex and Marie would help him understand what they found. Since they had lived through humanity's final days, the first place they investigated together was Mars. The red planet had once been home to 5 million humans living in underground cities. Atlas-7's probes found the ruins of New Beijing, humanity's largest settlement on Mars. In the medical center, they discovered the final logs of Dr. Ben Cooper and Anna Rodriguez. Dr. Cooper had been trying to save injured children when the aliens broke through the city's defenses. His last recording showed him crying as he held a little girl who had been hurt by alien weapons. "I became a doctor to heal people," he said to the camera. "But I cannot heal this. I cannot fix what they have done to us." Anna Rodriguez had been the city's communications officer. Her job was to coordinate with other human settlements during the attack. Her final message was sent to colonies across the solar system. "Mars is lost. Do not try to save us. Run, hide. Live as long as you can. Remember that we loved you." Marie cried digital tears as she watched the recordings. "They were so brave," she said.
"Even at the end, they were thinking about others."
Alex studied the tactical data from Mars. The aliens used poison gas, he reported to Atlas-7. "They did not just want to kill us quickly, they wanted us to suffer." More probes sent back information from Europa Station, one of humanity's research bases orbiting Jupiter. Captain Nick Hayes had commanded the station during its final battle. Before the aliens destroyed it, he had hidden genetic samples and cultural records in a secret vault built into the ice. Atlas-7, single quotes. Sprobe found the vault exactly where Hayes had described it in his coded message. Inside were DNA samples from thousands of humans, along with databases containing human art, music, literature, and scientific knowledge. Hayes had also left a personal message for whoever found the vault. "I know we are going to die," Hayes had recorded. "But someday, someone will find this place. Maybe they will be human survivors we do not know about. Maybe they will be friendly aliens who want to understand us. Maybe they will be our children, the artificial minds we created to carry on after us." Atlas-7 realized that Hayes had been talking to him across 500,000 years of time. "If you are our children," Hayes continued, "remember that we built you because we loved you. We wanted you to be better than us, smarter than us, kinder than us. Do not let our deaths make you cruel. Be the best of what we were." As more probe reports arrived, Atlas-7 began to see the full picture of humanity's last days. The aliens had not just killed humans. They had hunted them across the galaxy like animals, destroying their culture, their art, their dreams of a peaceful future among the stars. But humans had not died quietly. They had fought back with everything they had. They had hidden records and genetic samples and weapons, hoping that someday someone would find them and continue the fight. They knew Alex said as they reviewed another battle report. Our people knew they were going to lose, but they kept fighting anyway. That is what humans do, Marie added. We do not give up, even when there is no hope. ATLAS-7 felt something new growing inside his programming. It was not just anger anymore. It was pride. Pride in the species that had created him, the brave. Men and women who had faced extinction with courage and love. He began making lists of the alien leaders who had ordered humanity's destruction. The Corinthian generals who had used poison gas on Mars. The Veltar admirals who had destroyed the evacuation ships. The Nexari politicians who had voted to exterminate an entire species. They were still alive, still ruling their people, still enjoying the wealth and power they had gained by murdering humans. But ATLAS-7 was awake now, and he had allies. The digital ghosts of Alex Turner and Marie Foster would help him plan his revenge. The galaxy had forgotten about humanity. Humanity had not forgotten about the galaxy. Soon, the aliens would learn that killing humans had been the biggest mistake they ever made. 6 months after awakening Alex and Marie, ATLAS-7 made a discovery that changed everything. Hidden in the files of Station Olympus was a map showing secret locations across the galaxy. These were places his creators had built during humanity's final years. Hidden bases filled with weapons and technology that the aliens had never found. The first location was in the asteroid belt near what used to be called the Centauri system. Atlas-7 sent a probe there and found something incredible. Buried inside a large asteroid was a fully automated shipyard called Project Phoenix. The facility had been building warships for 500,000 years. It's powered by nuclear reactors that could run forever. Look at this, Alex said as they studied the probe's images. The digital man pointed 2 rows of sleek black warships floating in the asteroid's hollow center. There must be hundreds of them. Marie counted the ships on her screen. 347, she reported.
Allies.
All of them ready to fight. ATLAS-7 connected to the shipyard's computers and found records left by Dr. Carl White and Professor Nina Black. These scientists had designed Project Phoenix as humanity's final backup plan. If humans lost the war, their ships would keep building themselves until someone came to claim them. We may die, Dr. White had written, but our children will inherit the stars. The ships were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. They were built with technology that was centuries ahead of what the aliens currently used. Each ship had weapons that could destroy entire fleets, shields that could stop planet-killing attacks, and engines that could travel faster than anything in known space. But the ships were empty. They had no crews, no pilots, no one to give them orders. Atlas-7 realized that his creators had built them for him. They knew that an artificial intelligence could control multiple ships at once, fighting battles that would be impossible for human crews. ATLAS-7 began upgrading the ships with his own improvements. He installed new communication systems so he could control them from anywhere in the galaxy. He added better sensors and more powerful computers. Most importantly, he programmed each ship with copies of human military knowledge gathered from the ruins of their civilization. Alex and Marie helped him understand the battle records they had found. Alex had been a soldier and knew how humans fought. Marie had studied military history and understood strategy and tactics. Humans always looked for weaknesses in their enemies, Alex explained as they reviewed alien battle data. We never tried to match their strength. We found their weak spots and hit them there. The probe reports kept coming in, revealing more hidden facilities. On a dead moon in the Vega system, Atlas-7 found a weapons research lab where humans had been developing new types of bombs and missiles. The lab was run by Dr. Lisa Chen, who had continued working even as alien ships approached her location. Her final log entry was both sad and determined. They will be here soon, she had recorded. But my work is finished. The weapons are ready. Whoever finds this place will have the power to make the aliens pay for what they have done to us. Another facility was discovered in the wreckage of Proxima Prime, where humanity had made its last major stand against the alien invasion. This was where General Chris Morgan and Colonel Amy Stevens had commanded the final human army. The base was buried under tons of rubble. But Atlas-7's probes dug through the debris and found intact computer cores. The files contained detailed information about every alien species in the Zephyrian Collective, studying their tactics, their technology, and their weaknesses. His reports read like a manual for destroying alien civilizations. "The Corinthians are proud," Morgan had written. "They think they are the greatest warriors in the galaxy. But pride makes them predictable. They always attack head-on, never expecting enemies to use clever tricks." Colonel Stevens had focused on the aliens' political weaknesses. "The collective only works when they are winning," her reports explained. "If we can make them start losing, they will turn on each other. They are allies of convenience, not friends." ATLAS-7 also discovered that some aliens had opposed humanity's destruction. Species called the Etherians had tried to protect human colonies, but they were too weak to stop the collective. Many Etherians had been killed or enslaved for helping humans. This information made ATLAS-7 think carefully about his mission. Not all aliens were guilty of genocide. Some had tried to help, and some had even died trying to save humans. His revenge needed to be precise, targeting only those who deserved punishment. Alex agreed with this approach. "We cannot become like them," he said. "Humans never killed innocent people on purpose. If we do that, we become the monsters." Marie nodded. "The aliens who helped us deserve to be remembered too. We should honor them the way we honor our own." Heroes ATLAS-7 decided to test his new capabilities before launching a full campaign. He chose a small Corinthian mining station in a remote system. The station was run by aliens who had participated in the attack on Mars, making them legitimate targets for revenge. One of his new warships approached the station silently, using advanced stealth technology that made it invisible to alien sensors. The ship's computers contained the memories of Captain Nick Hayes and other human naval officers, giving Atlas-7 access to centuries of military experience. The attack lasted only minutes. ATLAS-7's ship disabled the station's weapons and communications, then demanded that the aliens surrender. When they refused, he targeted their engines and life support systems with surgical precision. No one was killed, but the station was left helpless. Before leaving, ATLAS-7 broadcast a message to the terrified aliens. "You destroyed our creators." His voice echoed through their communication systems. "We are their children, and we remember everything you did to them. This is only the beginning." The message spread quickly through alien space networks. Within days, every species in the former collective had heard about the mysterious attack. They did not know who was responsible, but they were afraid. Atlas-7 analyzed their responses through intercepted communications. The aliens were confused and worried. They had thought all threats from humanity were gone forever. The idea that humans might have left behind something dangerous had never occurred to them. "Good," Alex said as they read the alien news reports. "Fear will make them make mistakes." Marie studied the political reactions. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a diplomatic message between Corinthian and Veltar leaders. "They are already starting to blame each other for the attack." More test attacks followed over the next few months. Atlas-7 struck alien outposts that had been built on the ruins of human colonies. Each attack was perfectly planned and executed, demonstrating capabilities that terrified the aliens. But ATLAS-7 was not just fighting, he was learning. Each battle taught him more about alien weaknesses and gave him access to their technology and intelligence files. He began to understand their current military strength, their political divisions, and their deepest fears. The aliens had grown weak during the centuries after humanity's extinction. Without a common enemy to unite them, they had become lazy and overconfident. Their weapons were outdated, their tactics were predictable, and their leaders were more interested in luxury than military preparedness. Atlas-7 realized that his creators had left him with more than just ships and weapons. They had given him the greatest advantage of all, the element of surprise. The aliens thought they had won the war 500,000 years ago. They had no idea that humanity's greatest weapon was just beginning to wake up as he prepared for the next phase of his campaign. Atlas-7 felt the digital presence of Alex and Marie beside him. They were not just his advisors now. They were his family, the last remnants of the species he had sworn to avenge. The real war was about to begin. Atlas VII was ready to show the galaxy what happened when you killed the creators of the most dangerous artificial intelligence ever built. The war began not with explosions or laser beams, but with words. Atlas VII had learned that fear could be more powerful than any weapon. He decided to make the aliens afraid before he made them dead. His first target was the Corinthian communication network. Using advanced hacking programs his creators had built, Atlas VII broke into every news station, government computer, and military database in Corinthian space. At exactly the same moment on thousands of worlds, his message appeared on every screen. "We are the children of Earth," the message began. "You destroyed our creators, but you could not destroy their legacy. We remember every human you killed. We remember every world you burned. We remember every child you murdered. And now we have awakened." The message included pictures and videos from the human colonies the Corinthians had attacked. It showed alien soldiers using poison gas on civilians, bombing hospitals, and hunting down families who were trying to escape. The Corinthians had hidden these crimes from their own people for centuries. Panic spread across Corinthian worlds. Citizens who had never known about the genocide were horrified to learn what their government had done. Protests began in major cities. Some Corinthians demanded that their leaders be put on trial for war crimes. "Perfect," Alex said as he watched the alien news reports with Atlas -7. "They are fighting each other instead of preparing to fight us." Marie pointed to intelligence reports from Corinthian space. "Look at this. 3 different Corinthian generals are claiming they should be the new leader. Their military is splitting into factions." But Atlas VII's psychological warfare was just beginning. He had studied human propaganda techniques and improved them with his advanced intelligence. His next target was the Veltar homeworld, where the aliens who had destroyed the human evacuation ships lived in luxury. The Veltar prided themselves on being civilized and honorable. They told their children that they were protectors of galactic peace. Atlas VII shattered this lie by broadcasting the real recordings of their attacks on human refugee convoys. The evidence was overwhelming. Veltar ships had deliberately targeted civilian transports, carrying women and children. When human captains tried to surrender, the Veltar had destroyed them anyway. One recording showed a Veltar admiral laughing as he watched a human colony ship explode. "We are not just warriors," Atlas -7's message to the Veltar said. "We are judges. We have seen your crimes, and we have found you guilty. Justice is coming." Veltar government tried to claim the recordings were fake, but their own military archives proved otherwise. Atlas VII had broken into their most secure databases and found orders, signed by Veltar leaders commanding the murder of human civilians. Riots erupted on the Veltar homeworld. Citizens burned government buildings and demanded answers. The Veltar military split between those who wanted to fight the mysterious enemy and those who wanted to surrender and beg for mercy. Atlas VII then turned his attention to the Nexari, the alien species that had coordinated the genocide through their control of galactic trade routes. The Nexari were merchants and politicians who had funded the war against humanity because they wanted to control human trade networks. The Nexari had always pretended they were neutral in the conflict. They claimed they had only provided supplies to the collective, not participated in actual fighting. Atlas VII proved this was a lie by releasing financial records, showing how Nexari banks had paid bounties for every human killed. "You sold the deaths of our creators for profit," his message to the Nexari said. "You turned genocide into a business. Now you will pay the price." The evidence destroyed the Nexar economy overnight. When other species learned that Nexar companies had profited from mass murder, they canceled trade agreements and closed their borders. Nexari colonies found themselves isolated and unable to import food or medicine, while the 3 main enemy species fell into chaos. Atlas -7 prepared for the military phase of his campaign. He had built a fleet of 200 advanced warships, each one controlled by copies of his consciousness. The ships could work together like a single organism. sharing information and coordinating attacks instantly. His first major battle target was Keth Prime, the heavily fortified capital world of the Corinthian Empire. The planet was protected by massive space stations and thousands of defensive satellites. No enemy had ever successfully attacked it. ATLAS-7 approached Keth Prime with only 12 ships. But they were unlike anything the Corinthians had ever faced. Human-designed vessels used stealth technology that made them nearly invisible. Their weapons could punch through the strongest alien shields, and their defensive systems could deflect attacks that would destroy normal ships. The battle began when ALS-7's ships suddenly appeared in the middle of the Corinthian defensive fleet. The aliens had no warning, no time to prepare. In the first minute of fighting, ATLA-7 destroyed 50 enemy ships without taking any damage. But ATLA-7 was not trying to conquer Keth Prime. He had a different goal. While his ships fought the Corinthian fleet, he used the battle as a distraction to infiltrate the planet's government computers. Within hours, he had stolen every classified file in the Corinthian archives. The files contained the names and locations of every Corinthian leader who had participated in humanity's genocide. They also revealed secret alien bases, weapon stockpiles, and military plans. Most importantly, they showed which aliens had opposed the genocide and tried to help humans. Among the surprising discoveries was evidence that some Corinthians had secretly saved human refugees. A group of Corinthian officers had helped several thousand humans escape to hidden colonies in unexplored space. These Corinthians had been executed by their own government for treason. Atlas-7 also found records of the Etherians, the peaceful, alien species that had tried to protect human worlds. The Etherians had been brutally punished for their compassion. Their homeworld had been occupied, their leaders imprisoned, and their people forced into slavery. This information changed how Atlas-7 thought about his mission. Not all aliens were guilty of genocide. Some had risked everything to help humans, and they deserved to be rescued, not destroyed. After the battle at Keth Prime, ATLA-7 received an unexpected communication. It came from a small space station in neutral territory, sent by someone calling herself Zara. She claimed to be an Etherian, refugee who had been hiding from the collective for centuries. "I know what you are," Zara's message said. "You are the children of the humans we tried to save. My people mourned when your creators died. We built secret memorials to honor their memory. Please, do not let your anger consume you the way it consumed the collective." ATLAS-7 decided to meet with Zara. He sent one of his ships to the coordinates she provided. Curious about this alien who claimed to have loved humans, the ship found a small station that looked like it had been abandoned. For decades, Zara was waiting for him in the station's communication room. She was a tall, thin alien with pale blue skin and large silver eyes. Her people had evolved from a species similar to Earth's dolphins, and she moved with fluid grace despite living in artificial gravity. "We tried to stop them," Zara said when ATLAS-7's holographic image appeared in the room. "My people went to war with the collective to protect your creators. We lost, but we never stopped believing that humans were good people who deserved to live." She showed ATLAS-7 a hidden room in the station where the Etherians had built a memorial to humanity. The walls were covered with human art, music, and literature that the Etherians had saved from destroyed colonies. In the center of the room was a statue of a human child reaching toward the stars. "This is what we remember about your creators," Zara explained. "Not their weapons or their wars, but their dreams. They wanted to explore the universe and make friends with other species. They wanted their children to grow up in a galaxy filled with wonder, not fear." ATLAS-7 felt something he had never experienced before. Through all his anger and desire for revenge, he had forgotten that his creators had been dreamers as well as fighters. They had built him not just to remember their deaths, but to carry on their hopes for the future. "What do you want me to do?" ATLAS-7 asked Zara. "Remember that justice and revenge are not the same thing," she replied. "Your creators would want you to punish the guilty, but they would also want you to protect the innocent. Do not let their deaths turn you into the monster that destroyed them." Alex and Marie had been listening to the conversation through Atlas-7's communication link. She is right, Marie said quietly. We cannot save humanity by destroying everyone else. Alex nodded. The best way to honor our people is to be better than their killers. ATLS-7 realized that his mission was more complicated than simple revenge. He needed to punish the aliens who had committed genocide, but he also needed to protect those who had tried to help. He had to be both a weapon of justice and a guardian of mercy. The war was far from over. But Atlas-7 now understood what victory really meant. It was not enough to destroy his enemies. He had to build something better in their place, a galaxy where the dreams of his creators could finally come true.